Welcome back, and today we're going to be reviewing the 2nd Panzer Grenadier Division, part of NATO. It's a German division. It's going to be interesting. This is going to be our second nation, part of NATO, in WARNO to have a look at. Alright, let's jump straight and have a look at some units and see how they compare to the other nations in the game. So first and foremost, we got the Unimog S4 munitions. 500 points, 20 points. That's not bad actually. Just your standard sort of supply vehicle. Pretty cool looking. Mercedes there, like that. Next, we've got the M109a3 Ga1 munitions. So a bit more armor on it. It's got 500 supply as well. I don't really know, like per se, personally. I guess it's interesting. It has some armor, so I'm guessing it can take some small arms. Sometimes you kind of send out logistics, and they may have Recon, and Recon may shoot at your supply if they run out of 80. So potentially that might actually be useful having one that's armored over than the standard one. So it depends what you want really. Speed or armor. Personally, I'd rather go for the armor really. So yeah, considering they're both the same amount of supply. Next is the Man Cat 6x6 munitions. Nice vehicle this, 1,750 supply, probably one of the top supply trucks as well in the game. Nice for 60 points as well. It's a pretty good price for it. Next are the CH-53G munitions, 2,000 supply in it, 75 points, not bad at all as well. Really fast helicopter, probably one of the fastest helicopters in the game actually, very much up the top. Nice, like that, really good supply. Next you got the Ultes Verhungens, or Verhungens, I'm guessing some sort of leader, or I'm guessing Führer means Führer, I don't know. Ungs. Anyone know? Let me know below. I know someone told me that one of the Führer, we'll probably look at the infantry units, means Führer leaders, so we'll look at that in a look, which is quite interesting. So that's another command vehicle there. Not bad speed, mediocre stealth, so just your standard command vehicle there. And then we have the Fuchs FU. The MG is probably not that's how you pronounce it, but there we go. The MG3, so a little bit of protection there. For 110 points, personally, I'd pick this well and truly over the Iltis, just because I have the fact that it has weapon system and a bit of armor. It's kind of a no-brainer really for an extra 10 points. Yeah, 100% go for this. Next are the M577 Ga2, which is just another CV vehicle. It's pretty slow actually, but it's got a bit more stronger armor, so it can probably sustain a bit more fire, more arms than the other vehicles. But still, personally, I'd rather go for this one out of all of them. And then last for the Cvr Sultan, which is actually a British-made vehicle. Which is quite interesting that they have in part of this division. I guess during the time lots of kit was assigned. It's nice. It's just got a bit of side armor. It's interesting they've added this though. Considering you've got literally M577 A2, which is pretty much the exact same stats. If you can compare them side by side. The Sultan is extra 10 points. And you get a little bit more speed out of it really. Off terrain speed, which is kind of interesting, and you get a little bit more fuel in the German compared to the Belgium Sultan, which is a British vehicle anyway. Cool. Alright, nice. Alright, some interesting stuff there we've got for in the logistics tab. Some good variation of units that we could possibly use out in the battlefield. Yeah, nice start. Moving on to the infantry tab, probably one of the most important tabs in this division. First and foremost, we have Feldjäger, which I'm guessing some sort of local infantry units, police, military police unit, some sort of border unit. Not too sure exactly what they are. In real life, strength only 4, quite a small unit actually, but one of the smallest infantry units I've seen. Which is equipped with a submachine gun, only worth 15 points. Quite frankly, I don't think I'd even use these, because even just getting at 35 points, you can find other cheap units, but I suppose the good thing about them is that you can fill up towns and positions to defend. Personally, I'm not a biggest fan, but they've got good accuracy though, which is definitely a benefit. Yeah, it depends on how you like to play, playing style. But personally, I wouldn't say these are the best units to potentially equip your deck with. Next, we have the Scheisrugens. How do you pronounce that? Or Sicherungs. Sicherungs. With G4A4, there's 11 men here, all equipped with G3, so this is literally just a rifle squad more or less. Once again, really good for maybe assisting infantry, bolstering defences, and kind of having manpower thrown at enemy positions. But obviously these are only infantry and soft targets, so you've got to bear that in mind. So our first big unit here with the Panzer Grenadier Division. So quick transport you can have is the Marder 1A2 and the A3, which is really good. Probably one of the top 3 best infantry fighting vehicles I would say within the game. You got the Bradley, which is really good. We've seen that in the American division so far, but only very limited units have that capability. And the BMP 3. I'd probably put this out of those 3 vehicles. I'd probably put it third. The Marder 1A2 and A3, because it only has an autocannon, where the other vehicles have more weapon systems. It's definitely up there with regards to one of the best infantry fighting vehicles. So nice, but we have a good option here. So the Panzer Grenadier Division, I've just seen now their stats and the weapon system they have a battle rifle, G34, Red Eye, surface-to-air missile, and an anti-tank rocket Panzer first. I think we have just found the best command infantry in the game. 170 points, the most expensive infantry I've seen. So it kind of reflects the kit they've got. They've got literally 4 wait, how many Panzer first they got? Oh, just Panzer first and a surface-to-air missile. Like, it can literally defend itself against anything that comes at them. Infantry a little bit, surface, so you can take helicopters as well. You can even use these guys as on the attack. But pretty much anything that comes at them, they can fight it. So the best command infantry in the game. Equipped with Marders, even better. Nice. Germans have a good start. The 2nd Panzer Division seems to be looking really good for one of the best divisions in the game so far, in my eyes. Right now, with some really good units. Let's have a look. Let's keep going and see what else we can find. Next, we've got the Panzer Grenadiers, or the Carl Gustav M2, which is nice. The MG3 is good as well. There's 6 men in this squad, so it's quite a small team of guys, and you can equip it with the Marder 1A2 and A3. Not bad, not bad. Then we've got the Panzer Grenadiers, the M113. You can equip in that transport vehicle. MG3 of the Panzer first. Not the best, but they have 9 men. Not a bad unit, to be honest, quite frankly. I think they are good. Let's move along to the next one as well. And then you can equip in the Marder as well. Let's just look at the difference in the Panzer Grenadiers, these 2 units here, actually. Because one says good, one says mediocre. It's rather interesting because it looks like... Okay, that's why. The Panzer Grenadiers on the right-hand side have 4 less men in the unit. But they have a larger selection of vehicles. You have Marder 1A2, Milan. This bolsters the infantry fighting vehicle up massively. You've got a Milan weapon system that puts it to an excellent quality vehicle. Having that anti-tank capability. As you can see, compared to the 1A2 and the 1A3. So even the 1A3s, see, there you go. That's the point of best one you can get. Nice that. Let's just compare it to the 1A2. What is the actual difference in sort of price? We're looking at an extra 5 points. Where is that falling down? Potentially accuracy. Milan. No. That looks the same. There we go. The reason the difference is you're gaining 1 point of armor on every single front, side, and rear and top. With the 1A3, kind of no-brainer. For the extra 5 points, the extra armor does help. Survivability is always key. And really good unit, actually. 10 points, Marder 1A3. Really good unit to potentially assault positions and fight through. So definitely interesting unit to baby equip in your division. Or deck, sorry. Okay, the first anti-tank weapon system we got, or sort of anti-tank support. M409a3 reconnaissance rifle, more or less, or tank gun. Nice, 17 penetration. Not bad range. So not a bad unit, actually, overall, for the price it is. Pretty good to bolster defenses, once again. And we've got quite a lot of anti-tank also ground missiles here, actually. We've got the Milan 1, the Milan 2, which can be equipped in a Marder, and multiple vehicles there, which is really good. Looking 24 penetration, 60% accuracy. It's really good, actually. And then finally we have the FS Powell M Milan 2. What's the difference in this one and the other one? You're looking at better accuracy. So let's just drop this down. Yeah, better accuracy overall, really, I think. Potentially. 50%. And then, yeah, I know that they're about the same, actually. Interesting enough, 62%. 60%. Okay, they are the same, actually. So what is the actual difference between these two these guys here. Advanced deployment 3000. Oh, okay, so that's why you can advance deploy these. Indicates distance of advanced deployment. 0 means that this unit is not able to be deployed outside the zones. Okay, so these guys can be deployed at 3,500 meters in the battlefield. That's why an extra 5 points. You can deploy them further again. Okay, cool, nice. Right, next, we've got the Pioneer Führer with it's just another command unit with the MP2 and a Carl Gustav. Not a bad unit actually, 125 points. Kind of if you want a little bit cheaper command unit, that's pretty good. Next to the Pioneers, the MG3 with Satchel Charge. Pioneers of the Flamethrower. And then the Pioneers Armbrust, which is, it looks like, what actually is that? High explosive anti-tank as well. Not a bad unit actually, pretty good. Definitely up there. But one of my best units on the division actually. Look, 50, except from the FS Jaeger, which we'll look in a minute. But 50 points puts them in line with the Jaeger unit as well, above the Panzer Grenadiers. So the Armburst, that sounds pretty interesting. So you got the actual flamethrower, hand flamethrower in this unit. And then this unit actually has some high explosive and high explosive anti-tank capability in that weapon system. So kind of an all-round unit, not bad. Be interested to see what that's actually like. Next are the Jaeger Führer, so Jaeger leaders more or less, with cargo stuff again. But this one unit has a G3A4. Personal choice whether you want to have the MP2 or you want to have the G3A4. Or alternatively at the bottom here, the G3A4 just on its own. But I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend at least having some more capability, at least an anti-tank. So, nice. More options is better. Next are the Jaeger unit, infantry squad. 11 men in this one with a GA4, MG3 and the Panzer First. Once again, another nice unit there. And lastly, we have the FS Jaegers with probably the best Panzer First, the latest version or model or variant of that weapon system, the Panzer First 3 with a penetration of 21. Probably one of the best anti-tank launchers in the game, that in line with the AT4. Probably a little better because its range and penetration's right up there. I don't think I've seen any sort of handheld or rocket launcher, anti-tank rocket launcher at that sort of penetration other than the ATGMs like the Milans and whatnot, but for actual within squads, it's even better than the Dragon and the AT4. So really good weapon system there actually. Really good units against vehicles and tanks. So nice deck that. Really good options in the infantry tab there. Okay, moving on to the artillery tab. So first we've got the Tampella 120mm mortar. Misses, should we say, MRS. Nice to have that capability. I have mortars. Always mortars are good to be used, assisting in attacks, popping smoke and dropping artillery on positions, soften up before you move your men through. Highly recommend always having some sort of fire support for infantry before they move in any deck. You've got the Panzer Mortar, which is just pretty much the mortar on an M113 platform. I'd recommend this more than the Tampellas, just because firing, like I said in many of the other videos as well before, counter artillery, fire these and move. It's always a good tactic and discipline to keep doing once you fire your men, fire your rounds and then move your artillery. So you don't get counter artillery back. Next, we have the Lars 2, nice, an MLRS multi-rocket launch system. 36 rockets, good range as well, 35,000 straight up there for a 120-point vehicle with 35,000 range, really good. Penetration 6, suppression is 165, so really good actually. Really good weapon system in this actually. Rate of fire is 8, aiming time is 28 seconds, but it's 160-second reload time. That's a long time of reloading. Gee, that's almost 3 minutes. Almost. And the salvo length is 36. Supply cost is quite cheap though, so that's not too bad. Moving up to the Mars, the M26, which is a normal high explosive again. The range you can see there's a lot more with 42,000, high explosives 3.4 and a suppression rate of 431, which is a lot better compared to the Lars 2. But you are getting that, you can see that at that price. Pretty much anything in the zone where it's land is most likely going to be suppressed, and then if it hits enough, get enough rounds on target, you're pretty much going to knock them out. Hence why it's such an expensive price tag on this bad boy, but really good bit of kit and far range. But the only frustrating thing is the reloading time is quite long and the aiming time is quite long as well. So you'd make sure the units you are engaged in are stationary and fixed positions. Next, we have the FH1F155 155 Howitzer. Really big gun, that. Really good high explosive rate and suppression rate as well. Reloading time, aiming time still a bit poor. So the aiming time is really rubbish, actually, quite frankly. But you get what you're getting. Good, not a bad price for what it is. Supply cost is quite heavy as well, to be fair. But you're getting really good high explosive rate as well. Next, the M109a3 Ga1. Really nice bit of kit, this as well. For the price you're looking at, it's not too bad. I've even one of these in real life as well. Really awesome bit of kit. Fantastic self-propelled artillery from the German army. So nice. Good range as well. And finally, moving on to the M110a3 Ga2. Just another self-propelled artillery. A lot higher high explosive rate. Probably one of the highest, I think. Yep, even more than the Mars and the M109a3. So anything within that range that lands on is probably going to get annihilated, plus minus the tanks. But anything infantry-wise, if it lands on top of it, you're pretty much just going to flatten them. But all the stats around that are great. Reloading time, aim time is not the worst. So a good bit of artillery, that. As you can see, the price is quite expensive. And also if you compare it to the speed to move the vehicle around, it's not too bad actually in comparison to M109. But yeah, not bad. Not bad bit of kit actually. Really good artillery piece. Next, we move on to the tanks. So first and foremost, we have the M478A2 Charlie Golf Alpha 1. Pretty much a good unit to be used for support of infantry, or just bullet sponges to an extent. I would primarily use these support infantry in attacking towns and whatnot. But nice, got some good stats there. Kind of a standard vehicle. You've seen these similar vehicles before in like the Sheridan in the American division. First Leopard of the deck. We had the Leopard 1A1 A1 Führer, which is a command vehicle. Not bad front armor. Kind of a good little all-round tank. Actually, not bad command vehicle actually. Got good range in the weapon system as well. Not bad penetration. With MG3, it could do its job. Next, you have the Leopard 1A1 A1, which is pretty much the same as the one to its left, but just the non-command version. Not a bad price as well. Another vehicle that could be used at the front of armor columns, pushing attacks, also set up defenses, and also assisting infantry. So kind of an all-rounder, really. This tank could be used to spearhead things, and just a lot of things can be done with this vehicle if you use it well. Next, are the Cvr Striker, another British military vehicle, which obviously landed or passed to the Germans at the time. So you've got a ground-to-ground missile, 23 penetration, 2625 range. Not bad. It's a really good vehicle, actually, quite frankly. You put the stats up, you've got 50% accuracy. It's pretty good for what it is. It's got some armor as well, so it's kind of an all-rounder. A good anti-tank weapon system that can engage tanks and help armored columns defeat attacking enemy. Next is the Leopard 1A5 command vehicle. A little bit more better stats than the Leopard 1A1. You've got a little bit better range there as well, so this is probably more higher end tank you probably want to purchase if you can. And then the same variant, but the non-command vehicle. Another good vehicle you can use. So these are going to be your better tanks you want to be buying to actually use to fight other tanks and other divisions. Next, we have the Leopard 2A3 with the command version as well. This is for the command version. Front armor 19, so this is going to be up there, one of the best tanks, one of the top tanks in the game. Minus obviously probably Leopard 2A4 in the German division, but you have that ability to, in this deck, to actually put on some really strong tanks, as you can see here. So some really nice stats there actually. The command vehicle actually has some better stats there actually, but if we look over here, actually no, it should be about right. Yeah, it is. Pretty exactly the same, but one's command. That one's really good as well. Loving the skins and the models of this. Looks phenomenal. Beating one of these bad boys as well. Awesome tanks. We're actually one of the 2A4, not 2A3, but they're really good tanks, good weapon systems. Right, moving on to the Recon, another very important tab. So the first thing we have is the Cvr Scorpion. Nice, we have this and the Scimitar version as well. All the differences is just a weapon system. L2 3A1 is a high explosive utilised to take out infantry mortars, infantry support, and then you've got the autocannon version, which also can assist with infantry ground attacks, but can take out armor if need be. So it's good you have two options there, depending on how you want to do. Personally, I would probably go for this one, the Scimitar, because you've got more options. But you have the tank gun. Well, it's actually a tank gun. It's got 10 penetration. I was incorrect. It's the other way around, actually. This is the one that takes out tanks that potentially can do that penetration. Whereas this one does the same thing, but it's more infantry support. But nice, really good, and good and mediocre stats on the bottom, which ain't the greatest, but for the price you're looking at, pretty good all-round vehicle. Next are the Elkers. I don't know how you pronounce that, but these guys German? They look German. They're Belgium. Oh, that makes sense. With MP2 and M72 law. Exceptional stealth and very good. Not the best recon unit, but for the price you're looking at, pretty good to get around the map. Potentially knocking out some units, but really good with those. Exceptional stealth and very good optics, so very useful. Ooh, got the recon unit here that actually can go over a helicopter. Nice. And the FS Jaeger AUFK. They've got the Panzer First 3. Nice, really good weapon system. That exceptional stealth and very good optics. So quite frankly, really good unit. That probably one of the best recon units within this division so far. So we look at the other two. That Panzer First is a beautiful weapon system. This will be pretty much your saboteur or sabotage unit that's going to be going around taking out units. So nice. Next, we had the Off-Clara, with battle rifle G34. Good selection of helicopters and vehicles, actually, which is nice to see. You've got options to play with. The Panzer First 44, and they are a good unit. Exceptional stealth again, once again. They are better than the ones before, which is interesting. That's probably down to the MG3 or G34, which actually, no, it's not. Probably just the stats, the capability of the match, the accuracy is a little bit better. I wonder why that points are, actually. It's quite interesting. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So next got the Jaeger Aufklär, which is, if that's how you pronounce it, Aufklär, one of the best recon units according to this. MG3, Panzer First 44, a rather large unit. 11 men, that's probably why it costs so much, and to reflect on those stats, because it's got 11 men, very good, and exceptional stealth. You can also equip it with an M109a3 Recon vehicle, so you have those two vehicles in one, so it's nice. Really good infantry unit. That could be good assaulting with infantry, because obviously when you're doing an infantry attacks, you're going to want to have recon with you, especially at the front of the infantry formation, because last thing you want to do is move into a position, go into an assault, and then there's some enemy positions set up and you can't see them until you're right on top of them, and they have the element surprise, and you're kind of going to maybe lose that firefight. But if you have these guys at the front of the formation, like big recon squads like this, they get to spot the units first, and then you can potentially micromanage your men and try and get firepower on top of those positions. Next is the B0105 VBH, which is nice. Not the best recon helicopter in the game for what it is, but gives you a very good optics on a recon helicopter, which is always useful. You can always want helicopters. Next is the LUCH or Lux A1 with an autocannon. Not a bad recon unit, actually. It's quick. It's got an autocannon. You can get around the battlefield. You can assist infantry attacks. 60 points, quite steep, I'd say. Probably 50 would be better. But you can take a ground and helicopters, so not bad. Not bad little unit. And then last, you have the TPZ Fuchsrasit, which has exceptional optics. For the price you're looking at, it's quite expensive, quite frankly, because it has no weapon systems, which is a bit frustrating, but it does mean this thing can sit a little bit further back. It doesn't have to be so close to the front, and it has good eyes, so it can spot things quite easily. So that's probably why it has no weapon systems. But 60 points, quite a heavy price to pay, but it's one of the only exceptional optics vehicles in the game. So definitely something to try out and see how well it does on the battlefield and its survivability, considering it's got mediocre stealth. Next, moving on to the anti-air. So we have the Red Eye. We've seen this before in some other decks. 15 points. Of units, sorry. 15 points, quite cheap, but you can plot these around the map. You've got 16 of them if you want to. But 16 is a lot of units to get around, which is pretty cool. I wonder if you can just add that on its own. No, you can't. You've got to have a support vehicle. Not bad. Next, we have the FK20 20mm Zwingling, if that you pronounce it, anti-air gun, which is more or less like some flak. Flak 20. 35 points. It's non-radar guys, so it's pretty good. You can just leave these around the map, not have to worry about turning it on and off. Once again, just something to bolster defenses. Not the best AA unit I've seen in the game, to be honest, quite frankly, but what it is, 35 points, no radar. You can get these out quick and swam. You can have a really big air defense, umbrella and defense out there quite quickly if need be. Yeah, that capability. The Eye Hawk, which is phenomenal against taking out aircraft. Good stats on the accuracy. If you especially bump this up here, you're looking at 60%. And has 3 missiles, got a good range as well. So really good against aircraft. Also helicopters as well, but only thing is only 3 rockets. So I'm just got to bear that in mind. And then the Gepard 1A1, which is a really good bit of kit. Definitely up there, one of the best anti-air weapon systems in the game, with its ability to take out ground targets, helicopter and aircraft. You're looking at taking helicopters up to 2,825 meters, which is really good. As soon as the vehicle's or range goes above 2,800, you're looking at a good bit of kit, especially against helicopters, because not many helicopters can engage ground units above 2,800. So if you got that stat there, you're pretty much laughing that he's going to start engaging before they do. So nice, as you can see, it's reflected in his excellent unit quality. So definitely in this deck, I would have this selected as a unit. I'll definitely have a card to be using in the battlefield. Nice, lovely. What we got here? B0105 PAH1, and then the PH1 1A1. This just compares right by side to each other. So as you can see, that ground target range is 2625, which is reflected in most helicopters in the game. Hence why my last point about that air unit, it's good having that extra 280, 2,800 range. But nice helicopters these. Got 6 rockets each, good penetration, good accuracy, good range, good aiming time, reloading time. Really good actually. Really good little helicopters. Really good anti-tank helicopters actually. And finally, the air tab. There's quite a lot of selection here actually, surprisingly. Wow. Just quite a lot. It's probably the most aircraft I've seen in one tab. Okay, so first and foremost, what we've got here, we've got some sort of air support with Mike 81 bombs, 4 of them. G9, 1R3 Gina, high explosive. Cheap, high explosive air to attack. You know, just bomber head. You just get these out. If you just need to get units to fly out and bomb stuff, then nice and cheap, easy to use. And you got rocket pod version as well, 110 points. Good, nice, cheap units you can get if you're just like, what can I spend some points on? Not be too fussed about losing these guys. Yeah, you can get quite a few of them as well, because sometimes you're looking at, depending on what game mode you're playing, you can get about 260 points per minute. You can buy 3 of those in like a minute or 2. So you're pretty much laughing in regards to having some good air support quickly. And you have a napalm version as well. Nice. Next, we've got the Harrier GR3 AA, which is interesting that the Harriers are assigned to this division as well, but I guess obviously we was working with them in the Cold War, so it makes sense where some of these units were attached. Gatling on the air-to-air missile as well, the AIM-9L. Nice. Cheap air-to-air aircraft, not the best in the game, but once again, you can have the capability of dropping loads of these into the map as quick as possible to take out aircraft. Not having to save up for a while to get expensive units. You can have those not bad aircraft quite quickly. It's quite interesting, there's only literally one bearing on each other. It looks like it's going to rock side to side. Like, how is that literally balanced directly in the middle? That doesn't look right, does it? Like, whatsoever. Like, how is that just balanced in the middle there? It's quite interesting. It's funny. Okay, I know obviously the newer Harriers had, like, ones on the wings. That's probably what it was, actually, because you have, like, on the newer Harriers, they have, like, there you go. Oh, that makes sense over right there. That's why it looked confusing. The wheels are there. You can see them inside the wing. Before we put them down, so then it doesn't look so dodgy, just floating there. It looks like she's on the rock side side. Right, moving on. Right, but it's my bad. All right, the F104 Ga2, another anti-tank aircraft. Obviously, you can combine with the helicopters you have. Penetration 30, really good penetration. That right up there. Only 2 rounds though. Good range actually, 3325. Actually, is pretty poor though. Let's just bump that up, see what we're looking at. 43%. Actually not the greatest. Maybe I might get this, but personally I might go for a cluster. But depending on your playstyle, if you like to take out tanks quick, or you like to drop a bomb on them, it's up to you. But it also depends on what's happening in the battle as well. Next is the Tornado 1DS high explosive. Bit more bombs in this thing. Bit better air-to-air missiles as well. Exceptional air optics and very good agility. So a little more expensive, but it's reflected in the stats. Next to the Tornado F.3 AA. which is a really nice aircraft, actually quite expensive for one of the top end air-to-air fighters within this division. So we have your long range Sky Flash Super Temps and the AIM 9Ms, really good stats of accuracy and whatnot. So really good aircraft. That probably one of the aircrafts I would select for my air superiority fighter in this deck, quite frankly. It's always good to have a really good air superiority fighter because having air superiority is very key, and things can get out of hand if you lose that air umbrella, essentially. If you lose all your air defense and your air superiority, then you're in trouble, and you're pretty much on the back foot for the rest of the game. Next, a Tornado 1DS with a cluster variant and an anti-tank variant. So you got another choice of anti-tank here. Good stats there in the anti-tank, actually. Straight up good accuracy. 50%, not bad at all. You've just got the air-to-air version, and the cluster has an air-to-air version. That's good. The good thing about the Tornado is they can defend themselves as well. It's not just about the explosive, the ordnance, which is nice to see. They have an F4F, which is nice as well. 5 MK83 bombs, and its ability to defend itself once again. Then we have the Tornado GR1 Seed variant with the alarm anti-rad times by 3 of them. Nice penetration time 20. Really good range as well on that. 5,275 meters. Actually 60%. If we even bump that up a little bit more, you're looking at 69%. Really good. Seed, probably one of the best Seed aircraft I've seen in the game, actually. Minus I think one of the Soviet ones, but this actually has the capability to defend itself. So very much up there. One of the best Seed aircraft. Let's actually tell you what Seed stands for. Yeah. Oh, it's like surface air defense on that. Not sure. And lastly, we've got the Tornado 1DS MW1 bomblets. What is that? Some sort of cluster round. That's it. 4,704. What is that? That's interesting. I've never seen that before. You can engage up to 1,400 meters. Actually, 10% though. Ain't good. Shoot attributes. Rate of fire. 2. What is that? What is a bomblet? I need to look at this. This is going to be interesting. This is one of the things I want to equip just to see what that weapon system is. I've never seen that before. I can only assume it drops little clusters over a whole like area, and it just little bomblets, I suppose. If that is, that is a really high price. I'm guessing whatever is in that area and it's armor, it's gone. It's exceptional air to optics and it's really expensive. Nice, interesting. Some really interesting units actually in this deck. I love to see it. I love when you've got some units, divisions have stuff that other divisions don't have, which is interesting because that's just what war is like sometimes in military kit. Some nations have stuff that other nations don't have. So it's pretty cool to see. Well, that's the 2nd Panzer Division reviewed, and I looked at units. Some really good stuff in there. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next division, which I'm not too sure it is. I'm pretty sure it might just be a Panzer Division. But we'll see. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next one.